Thank you for coming on board today to listen to our podcast. Today we have our featured speaker, Marta Hamilton, who is the founder and creator of Telewellness Hub, a digital platform startup revolutionizing the experience of access to mental health and wellness providers. Telewellness Hub instantly connects users for free to mental health wellness providers and their full range of content, offering on-demand access and flexible options for provider appointments and their services beyond therapy, educational videos, podcasts, provider-created products, and resources all in one powerful digital hub. Welcome, Marta. Thank you for coming on our show today.
Thanks so much for having me and for this
So-
wonderful introduction.
Yes, thank you. And before we get started, I would like to hear a little bit from you and your personal journey of why you do the wellness work that you do.
That is a good question. I'm used to asking that question to others, so it's so interesting kind of having that flipped, right? I think my why is a combination, and I think cumulative experience as a student, as a provider, as a therapy client, as someone who has walked life as a single mom, as a wife, as a sister. I think mental health and wellness touches so many aspects of our lives, and it's such a critical part of, for me, of living, right? This sense of like wellness is so important, and it's unique to every individual and unique to different phases of life and different aspects of ourselves. And I just found that I really felt that there is nothing like knowing that you can impact someone's life. Like the work that you're doing is creating this meaning and instilling hope for their future. And that is a really priceless experience. That's, unless you're a provider, you don't necessarily, you can experience it perhaps in other ways, as a friend helping other people navigate, but as a provider, it is so rewarding to really get to experience that shift, that change, that inspiration, that hope. And that is why I keep doing it instead of something else, right? Because we all have these options for what we do in our career. And I feel really confident that I am aligned in the field that I'm in.
Absolutely. And if I could just mirror your sentiments, being a therapist myself, it's such a rewarding feeling to be in the field, to heal others, to make an impact on their lives. And even through our podcast, having others listen to the different providers and the different guest speakers and how the impact of wellness recovery affects their lives every day is just such a rewarding experience.
Yeah.
So thank you for kind of explaining a little bit about your journey. I want to hear more from you, Marta, on specifically, did you anticipate the kind of the power or the how much Wellness Hub has taken off? Did you anticipate it would be this kind of such a huge experience and a huge platform to give others to speak on these topics?
Honestly, if I'm very honest, no. I think I stepped into Wellness Hub a little bit naive of what of what it would entail and where it would lead me, and the types of conversations and platforms that I would be connecting with. I saw a need for us as providers for a tech centered, a health tech centered platform that allowed us to make a greater impact when it came to our clients, whether it's through offering a transformation in how we do our work, right? To be able to see more clients, to be able beyond our zip code, right? Like other directories, or to be able to offer services outside of one-on-one therapy, to be able to showcase that we have workshops or products, to be able to showcase our multiple disciplines that we might do if we are doing coaching and therapy or consulting and therapy. And so I thought, let's just see if we can make this. And there have been lots of ups and downs and learning curves and a lot of resources, time, my mental space. Like I'm always thinking about Wellness Hub. And I did not anticipate that it would lead me to, pitch competitions and discussions with investors and learning, really being in the kind of the tech field, being in this tech startup world. It's so different than private practice. So I just kind of leaped into it, not really fully knowing what it all would entail, but it's been a fun journey so far. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And with all the different hats that you just kind of pointed out, being a single mom, being a sister, being all the different roles that you've taken on, tell me what keeps you grounded in this realm, in this industry.
That is a good question because I think I think there are days that it changes. I think I have a wonderful family. Like I'm very close. I'm very fortunate that I'm very close to my family, my parents, my brother who works in the tech industry. So he's been really helpful, like in marketing and giving me his insight. Even when I don't want to I don't want to necessarily hear it, right? Like, hey, your website is down, or you need to fix this link, or you need to do X, Y, and Z.
Sure.
And it's encouragement and balance and having people who are looking out for for what you're building, but also for yourself. I have an amazing husband now. I have my daughters, and so I think I've had to be really intentional about how I used my time. I think once I
Mm.
learned to really block off chunks of time that I knew were going to be for either myself, like making sure I went to yoga, for example, is like that's what helps me. Or I literally had to block off like walking my dog and just being outside, walking my dog, listening to music for fun, listening to podcasts for fun, and being really intentional about staying connected with people that know me, and people that I care about, being able to ask them what's going on in their life, right? And friends, family. That has been what has been really helpful in um, helping me feel less chaotic, because when you own your own business, whether it's private practice, right, or you're launching a different startup, it's so easy to never turn it off. Like there's
Yes.
always something you could be doing,
Right.
right? Like there's always something you could be doing. And I think by being really mindful of my time, I think that was like the best way for me. Like, okay, it's time to turn off that part of my brain. It's time to turn off that part of my like role. And it's time to turn on just, going to yoga. Time to just family movie night. It's time to just be okay with not being productive right now. Because in slowing down, I found that I became more productive because I wasn't working from a place of burnout. I was able to work from a place of, a refreshed mind and spirit.
I love that you speak on that because I think in today's society, we're always built to just go, 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 and school, work, take our kids to other activities, and it's always such a fast-paced kind of competitive environment and to produce and excel. So I love that you kind of brought that intersect there of like being mindful and
Yeah.
understanding that our time is very valuable and to turn off those leave work at work and to leave whatever obligations that may be
Mm-hmm.
ruminating in our head, leaving it at work and not taking it home with us. So I love that you kind of illuminated that experience and how it works for you. Did you imagine that you would 5 years ago, looking back on this project, did you imagine that it would take off the way it did and expand the way it has? Has it? And what are your dreams, maybe for the next vision on board?
So, yeah, 5 years ago, this wasn't even necessarily on my radar yet, but like close to 5 years. I knew that I wanted, like, my private practice was very focused on integrative services. My
Mhm.
private practice was named Integrative Solutions Center. So my
Okay.
idea was I really wanted to bring, I had neuropsych, I had counseling, I had yoga. I just really believed that there was, I guess it was in the works that an approach to helping any potential client find the care that they needed in one central place. That was always something that I had envisioned, and it just ended up being through technology. I did not anticipate we were able to onboard 700 providers. We've
Wow.
had interest. What's been the hardest thing for me, if anything,
Yes.
is not being able to anticipate, um, I guess from like the technology standpoint, how much I needed to create. Well, first of all, it takes costs a lot of money to create a custom web application. I didn't anticipate that, if I'm honest. I'm gonna just speak
Sure.
really candidly. I thought, oh, we could
Mm.
do this like on WordPress or make a website. And I learned it is not that easy. Like this is a whole platform. And so I had to really, so in order to in order to execute the vision and the dream and what I know this can be in the future, I had to be okay like hitting pause a lot. I had to be okay
Mhm.
saying, you know what, I need to tell people like this is going to be down. I'm not going to charge them right now. I need their input. Let's build something with their input. I had to be okay with that because the vision for what's to come is like so amazing. I had to learn from, where we started to where we are now, because we went through iterations where we realized, okay, we need a platform that's as powerful and built on the same technology as Netflix and Airbnb, because for all these listings, for all of this searching, and that's what we did. Like we're that's what's happening right now in the back end. And I'm very excited because it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be a mix of providers being able to really find freedom. There's other platforms out there, but I think what makes Telewellness Hub different is that it's built by a provider for providers, and like even us as providers coming together, right, to have these conversations and really showcase individual providers so that you're not another number in a big tech company.
Exactly.
You're not like a contractor or an employee of Telewellness Hub. You run your practice and you have the freedom that you want. And basically, I now have an amazing technology team that has worked for like big corporations who can build the platform that we all wish existed. So as providers, so I'm very excited for what's to come, because now we will have the ability to, I guess, keep up with these other platforms, in the health tech space that maybe aren't created by providers, and they have their usefulness, and I'm grateful for them in many ways. But I think like for our future, for mental health and wellness, we need someone who's and it's not just me, it's not me, it's like a collective. It's all the providers who have like seen a part of the vision and are on board. Like collectively, we need us together to create this platform so that we can mobilize and be able
Mhm.
to have a voice in the mental health and wellness industry, so that we can also, in doing so, empower our clients, because we know their needs. We know what needs to be done in this mental health system that is very broken. It's very
Absolutely.
broken. And so that's my dream, that's my vision, and I see it coming to life slowly, like brick by brick, because it was, I'm not backed by like a big venture capitalist firm that, it's been slow and steady. And but now we're here. So now it's time. The big reveal is going to be huge.
Well, we're so excited to be on board with this Telewellness Hub podcast. As you know, I've been a guest speaker a couple of
Yeah.
times, and many of my friends are fans of this platform and kind of the vision that we have on board. I'll just have to say it's been a humbling experience to be part of this community as well, because it's such a demand for what we need, having providers connect with others. And the topics that you speak about on these podcasts are really like hot button issues and things that people can really relate to on everyday levels. Just out of curiosity, where did you kind of get this? Where did you kind of get this passion for this intersect for this platform?
Well, I think, I've been a private practice owner myself. I've been a group practice owner myself. I understood the pain points and the struggles of
Mhm.
being able to share your voice while you're also seeing clients, right? Like that's your main priority, is your clients.
Right.
And sometimes there were days I was in session back to back 8 to 8, those were my long days. And on Wednesdays I saw clients 8 to 8. And you're just hoping you have time to eat lunch and call,
Exactly.
call people and
Right.
make your documentation and
Yes.
respond to insurance and questions that they have and different things. So I think I saw the need that there was, and in talking one on one with different providers, I just thought, like, wow, what an amazing person, colleague. I felt like really inspired and encouraged and motivated by each encounter, that I thought, if we can just showcase and highlight and give a spotlight to this person of what they're doing, where they don't have to worry about, like, how do I go about that myself, right? Because, like I said, like, you're just trying to figure out, how do I make lunch for myself, like make time for lunch sometimes, I mean, truly. If we can figure out a way to make it easier for providers to do the wellness work that they do, and also easier for potential clients to get a glimpse as to what a provider is like even their
Mhm.
mannerisms, right? Like, when searching for a therapist, you're like, I don't know, I guess I'll Google them. And you don't know what it's going to be like working with them, but how nice to get a little inside glimpse as to, what their expertise is, because they talked about it on their podcast episode, their history, their viewpoints. It brings an openness that I think is necessary in the mental health and wellness field, to take away some of that stigma, to make it
Agreed.
approachable,
Right.
and and it's a platform where potential clients don't have to pay and sign up to register. They can freely search and find their ideal provider. So in doing that, that's a win for a provider too, because you want to have the ideal client find you, and you want to be the ideal provider for your client. So um, there's just a lot there for what's driven my passion. But I think my experience as a provider, in private practice and as a therapy client myself, ultimately is the main thing that has propelled this forward.
Yes, and to your point, I really love how Telewellness Hub really just gives an opportunity to humanize us as therapists. Because I think sitting in the client role, they don't get to know too much about the
Right,
therapist. It's not actually a dual relationship here. It's actually the
right,
one relationship that's very one sided. So when you see our speakers on Telewellness Hub, you really get to know them on a personal level, what they're passionate about, what their dreams are, what humanizes them. And I think that I love how we have that opportunity to get to know the therapist on board, so that it is the right fit for both the therapist and the client. Well, Martha, I want to thank you so much for being on our podcast today and being on our wellness journey. As always, you've been a leader in our field, and I really appreciate you coming on board to share a little bit about how you got started with Tele Wellness Hub. And thank you, listeners, for being part of our show today.
thank you so much, it was a pleasure.